Krishna. We'll start with prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिते नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणि प्रचारिणि निर्विशेषशून्यवादि पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणि। श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। Welcome all of you for taking out your valuable time, and we'll be continuing our session. We'll be continuing the topic which we were discussing last week, which is 25 vital lessons from the Ramayana. And we'll just quickly revise the lessons also. Just a second, let's share the PPT. Kindly let me know if the presentation is visible to everyone.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, Madam. All right. So we'll just quickly revise. First lesson we learned was power of bad association, Kaikai and Mantra episode, and all of you already are aware with the story of Ramayana. Second, attachment to service, not to the position, not to perks and privileges, but responsibilities. Third lesson, mission of life is to vanquish the demonic tendencies, to purify ourselves, to make a better version out of ourselves. So that's the mission of life, and we should give up our comfort zone for that. Fourth lesson, if extreme reverses taken in good spirit, will help us fulfill our mission. And all critical situations or calamity should be taken in proper spiritual perspective. That's how we should see it. Okay. So we can only realize God when we give up our comfort zone. We will we discussed the episode of all the citizens of Ayodhya going to the forest with the Lord, and alertness. The moment they weren't alert, they were inattentive, Lord left them. That's what happened in Ramayana. Seventh lesson, saintly persons or our mentors, spiritual teachers may cause pain, but that is for our own benefit. Not to hurt, but benefit. So these were the 7 lessons we learned. Now we'll resume with the 8th lesson. So lesson number 8 is the goal of life, actual purpose, perfection, and goal of life is to please the Lord. Every scripture of every major religion in the world says the same. Like in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned, Samsiddhir Hari Toshanam. Goal is to please the Lord. Even Bible mentions that, love thy Lord with all thy heart, let thy will be done and not mine. Because with every activity, the only reason, the only purpose behind every activity should be to please the Lord. Because our pleasure does not matter. Very contrary concept to the modern world. Because everyone in this world does whatever makes him happy. Very important principle. Not very important, but that's what it's going. Everyone works, everyone does hard work so that he should feel happiness inside his heart. But the point is, we can never be happy in this world, no matter whatever we do. Spirit soul can only be happy when connected to the super soul, and the inner fulfillment can only be achieved when we put conscious, loving efforts to please the Lord, regardless of whatever troubles we may have to take. And therefore, the actual purpose of religion, Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, whenever he was asked what's the purpose of religion, he always used to say the purpose of religion is, always remember this, purpose of religion, actual real religion means to know God, to serve God, and to love God. Very basic. If any religious practice makes us And any religious practice brings us to this understanding that who is God, what is God, how do I serve Him, how do I get connected to Him, and what is the way that we start to love Him. That is the definition of real religion. And therefore, the story goes that when brother of Lord Ram, Bharat, he went to the Lord, went to the forest to bring back the Lord to his kingdom, it would have been very comfortable for him to stay in the forest with the Lord. But Lord Ram suggested and insisted that he better take up the responsibility of ruling the kingdom of Ayodhya. So even though he didn't want that entitlement or post or position, but he took up this responsibility. He took up this responsibility. So therefore, even though things may not be pleasing, spiritual life is very simple. It simply means not just spiritual life, anything in this world. Suppose someone is an athlete, someone is an artist, someone is a software engineer. What does he do to achieve perfection? Whatever is favorable for his profession, we do that. Everyone does that, even though they may not like it. Going to office, even though we may not like it, but that's part of our life and that's how we run our household. And giving up things which we, even if we may like it, to the topmost priority. That is spiritual life, applies to spiritual life also. Whatever is favorable for our consciousness, for our purity, we maintain that even though we may not like it, like getting up early in the morning, hearing classes, discussing books, reading books, going to temple. And whatever is unfavorable for us, even though it is very pleasurable, but that should be avoided because our intention, our purpose is to please the Lord. The Lord, Supreme Lord, should be pleased. And that's why spirit, most essential nature of a spiritual seeker that is that he develops love of God. He always wants to please the Lord. All, of course, via the medium of a spiritual master. So this is lesson number 8, very important. Lesson number 9. Actually, what happened, as the story goes, you must have all heard that when Lord Ram insisted Bharat that he returns back to the kingdom of Ayodhya, he insisted the Lord that he won't go alone. He would take his slippers along with him, his wooden sandals along with him, and he will worship those sandals. Those wooden sandals were placed on the throne, and he used to worship those sandals every day. Now, someone may think, what is this nonsense? Like, so symbolical. What is it even required? But the concept is the underlying concept behind this activity is that always used to think that he is not the king. Although Lord Ram made him the king, that he should rule, but in his heart, he always used to think that actually I am not the proprietor, not the controller. My elder brother, the Supreme Lord, Lord Ram, is actual deserving person, the deserving candidate for the throne. I am just serving on his behalf and ruling. Never even sat on the throne, but kept the sandals of the Lord on the throne. Concept here, the lesson we learn here is that we should always know that we are not the controller, we are not the proprietor. Whatever we achieve or receive in this life by our efforts is the property of God. It has been given to us for some time for custody, and we should take care of it very nicely. Either it be our body, our kids, our family, our job, our money, whatever we have, given by the Lord. Lord is the proprietor, He is the enjoyer, and He is the person who should be enjoying all these facilities. And our enjoyment lies within the enjoyment of the Lord. That's why Bharat never sat on the throne. We are only caretakers. Lord is the controller, enjoyer, and proprietor. As He has given us anything, He can take anything from us. So we act as per the will of the Lord. Whatever Lord wants, whatever Lord desires. Actually, we see in this today in this current scenario why these wars and all are happening. They never understand that they won't be there to this entitlement eternally. Someone has become the president, someone has become the prime minister. It will be maximum 10 years, 15 years. That's it. Ultimately, to whom the land belongs. There's a very beautiful story. I don't know if you have heard that of a Mughal emperor. You can type in the chat box if you have heard Akbar Birbal stories in your childhood. I don't know. Someone of you have heard, may have heard. So many times in our school days, we used to hear those stories of Akbar and Birbal. Akbar was a very great Mughal emperor in India from the Mughal dynasty, and Birbal was his prime minister. Listen to this very carefully. And very important story. I hope all of you must have. No one has heard Akbar Birbal ever? Anyone?
Ji, Prabhuji, I have heard, but right now I don't remember much.
Okay, okay, sure, sure. Thank you, Amrita Mathur. So, very famous pair this was, and once upon a time, the Emperor Akbar, King Akbar, he was entitled as Akbar the Great, very powerful king. So, he was very proud that he belongs to this Mughal dynasty. He belongs to this Mughal dynasty. So one day his minister, a Mughal dynasty, this palace in New Delhi and this palace in Agra belongs to him. Very rich, very influential, very powerful. His kingdom extended till Kabul. So one day his minister Birbal decided to teach him a lesson. And then Birbal comes into when King Akbar was roaming in his garden for with his soldiers and showing off. Birbal comes in disguise of a beggar. Comes in disguise of beggar, and he comes there to beg some alms from the King Akbar. So then Akbar, as usual, in his own, in his own position, in his own demeanor, he asked, "So, what does this beggar want? What do you want?" He was begging for some alms. And that beggar said, "My dear sir, who are you?" This is Birbal in disguise, remember. "Who are you? What's your name?" So Akbar became offended. He was like, "You don't know me? I am the Badshah of Hindustan. Very great, powerful king. I am Akbar the Great. Everyone in the world knows me, and how dare you not know me?" So the beggar said, "Okay, if you're Akbar the Great, very powerful king, I see you live in this palace." So this Akbar said, "Yes, this is my palace. I have made it. My ancestors have made it. Very beautiful, big palace." So that beggar, who was Birbal himself, he asked, "Before you were born, who used to live in that palace? Who used to live in this palace?" Akbar said, "My father, Humayun, used to live in this palace. My great father used to live in this palace." The beggar replies, "All right. Before your father was born, who used to live in this palace?" Akbar said, "Before my father was born, my grandfather, the great King Babur, he used to live in this palace. So this is our ancestral property, huge palace." The beggar started to laugh. He started to mock Akbar. He said, "My dear king, you are actually not a king. This is not a palace. This is just a guest house. Like in guest house, every day there are guests who are coming and going. Similarly, you have come here for this lifetime, and after you, your sons will become the proprietor of this palace. Ultimately, it is a guest house, and you are just a guest." So to conclude, the beggar said, "Even you are a beggar like me. You yourself don't have a house. People keep changing. Before that, your father was there earlier, grandfather was there. People are changing. So this is a guest house. This is not a palace. Shame on you." And then Akbar came to his senses, hearing this knowledge. That actually, yes, what the beggar is saying is correct. And then he got confused. He doubted that who's this beggar who has so much of wisdom? And then the beggar revealed himself that, "My dear king, I am your minister Birbal. Just thought to teach you a lesson so that you are not puffed up." The point which we are trying to mention here is actually nothing belongs to us. And if the current leaders of this world understand that nothing belongs to them, they're just the caretakers for a certain period of time. And they should know how they can unite everyone, cooperate with everyone, and serve everyone rather than, bombing and throwing missiles, ha- usurping, snatching resources from each and every country. Terrible condition of the present day, the present world. Technology is developing for nuclear weapons attacking different nations. So much of crisis. And I recently heard, I don't know if it's true or not, that the gas prices in USA are almost doubled. Someone can confirm that. Just recently heard. Now it's $4 per gallon, I think. Earlier it was two. When I was there in the States, it was $1.2. Sometimes even 0.99. Now it has reached to $4 per gallon because of war tensions in the West Asia. If the simple lessons are learned by the leaders from Ramayana, actually much of the situation of the world can be improved. And that's what we learn. Ramayana gives all sorts of lessons. Lesson number 10. Anybody can make a show of greatness. Okay. As the story goes, Lord Ram, Bharat, no, not Bharat, Lakshman and his wife, Mother Sita, they went to the forest, and when they reached a particular place known as Dandakaranya, Panchavati, in a city named as Nasik in Maharashtra. I don't know if you're aware of that. So there's a city, small city. That's where a demoness named the Shurpanakha comes. So she dresses and disguises herself as a very beautiful woman and then wants to get married to Lord. And then Lord says, I have a wife, you can go to Lakshman. Lakshman says, I cannot marry, you can again go to the Lord. So this happens vice versa sometimes, and then she becomes angry. And then when she becomes angry, she gets agitated and she displays her real form as a demoness. And she wanted to kill Mother Sita. So what Lakshman does, takes a sword and cuts her nose and ears. A woman should not be attacked as per Vedic tradition, but when it's life threatening, it has to be done. Even modern people many times say that it's actually molestation. This shouldn't have been done. But this was life threatening. It was a life and death situation. Otherwise, woman is never disturbed. The lesson we learn here is how much ever show off we make, how much ever forms we can develop, and how much ever masks we can wear. But when there'll be agitation, there'll be provoking situation, there'll be anger, automatically our real form will be manifested. A very beautiful quote Srila Prabhupada used to mention that, very important. Please remember this. One's greatness of a person has to be estimated by his ability to tolerate provoking situations. Greatness is tested by tolerating the bad situations, calamities. That's how one becomes great. Everyone can become great on podcast and motivational talks, but how they handle calamities, that's what brings a true human, a true seeker out of them. Even Chanakya Pandit in this Chanakya Niti says that three people always speak the truth: a child, a person who is drunk, and a person who is angry. Three kinds of people who always speak the truth. All right. So therefore, actual form and actual position, our actual greatness comes out when we become angry, we are tested. Our patience is tested. Our tolerance is tested. Our humility is tested. And therefore, spiritual seeker, like always a tree laden with fruits, even if it is hit by a stone, it always gives fruits. That's what a spiritual seeker is. That's what spiritual life is. We should learn to tolerate provoking situation. That's what we learn from the lesson of this incident of Shurpanakha. Lesson number 11. Bhakti, Sita cannot be achieved by deception. All of you must have heard the story when Sita gives Agni Pariksha. Ravan, being a demon, cannot touch Mother Sita, because she's actually the eternal consort, eternal energy of the Lord, divine energy of the Lord. He cannot touch her at any cost. But since he wanted to cheat and take her away, what he got was Maya Sita, a fake form of Sita. People may understand that, oh, how is that possible? There's a different story. If someone, I don't know if you know, you can ask at the end and I'll mention that. You don't know them. So a fake Sita was reborn to take revenge from Ravan. And that's how, instead of real Sita was with the Agni, fire god, and actually Ravan kidnapped fake Mother Sita, Maya Sita as they call it, illusory form, which was not actual but was born to just take revenge from Ravan because of the previous life. She was born as Vedavati. And this Vedavati takes birth to take revenge from Ravan so that he's destroyed. The lesson we learn here, if we want to achieve, if we want to receive devotional spiritual grace so that we may change for the better, we can never experience that change unless we are deceptive and we are cheaters. We need to be very true and genuine. Because if we are deceptive, that will lead to arrogance and envy. We can never change in that sense. We should always remember that we should learn to be genuine, honest, then only we can change for the good. Otherwise, we can never achieve bhakti. We can never achieve Krishna consciousness. We can never achieve spiritual benefits from the process. We need to be genuine, consistent, without cheating mentality, and not be deceptive. Otherwise, what will happen is, unlike Ravan, we can never achieve real form of the eternal energy, divine energy of the Lord. One can only achieve it when one is submissive and one is simple at heart. Another very important principle we learn that actually simplicity is devotion. Simplicity is Vaishnavism. One should become simple at heart when one is practicing spiritual life. Not that we become crooked, we become political. Okay? These are the four lessons we learn here for today. Today we'll stop here. Won't take much of your time. Thank you very much for giving us your valuable time. Hare Krishna. So today we learned four lessons. We completed till 11. Next time we'll resume this from lesson number 12. Okay, we'll stop here. Any questions? Any questions? Any comments? Some take home from all of you? Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Like you said, our only goal is to like please the Lord. But while growing up, we are told by parents, friends, and teacher that we have to focus on our studies and then job and then get married, have a kid. And Lord was also the part, but it was like, okay, you can give 30 minutes or 1 hour, but it was never being told that it is our goal to please the Lord. But they were always telling us, like, focus on your career, earn money, have a home, and all those stuff. So the elders who are there to guide us don't know even this thing. So how the next generation will learn something?
Yes,
Even like
yes.
me, I never heard from anybody like I have to please the Lord, and that's my only goal. From my grandparents, they used to say, yeah, we need to learn about God, what is the history and everything. But I never knew that this should be our only goal. So, what do you have to say about it, Hare
Yes, yes.
Krishna?
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Amrita. It's a very good question. Actually, yes, the elders, especially in our families, they have a conception of spiritual life, but they have a misconception as well. They have a wrong conception that spiritual life should be started at old age when we settle everything. Actually, a person never learns anything in his old age. Old age is the age of retirement. So when one becomes old, he should retire from family life and be completely into spiritual life. Therefore, the young age, the student age, and especially our age, it's the age of training and learning. Therefore, they have this conception, and therefore, by through spiritual consciousness, through Krishna consciousness, we need to preach to the whole world. But actually, ultimately, what is our identity? People identify with this body, and therefore they give attention to the needs and interest of this body. All right. Like studying is important, 10th grade is important, 12th grade is important, college is important, getting married is important, kids are important, sending kids to school is important. Then again, the same cycle with the kids. Their school is important, their 10th grade is important, their 12th grade is important, their education is important, their marriage is important, them finding a good wife and husband is important. And then the grandparents, grandchildren, their school is important, their 10th, 12th grade is important, their college is important. It never ends. Why we should always understand with our reasonable mind why the interest of people in the world keep changing. They weren't happy with themselves, so they want to extract happiness from their kids. If not from them, then they want to extract happiness from grandkids, grandchildren. But it never ends because we are not this body. That's a basic concept. Basic concept is we are not this body. Our actual identities, we are something different from this body. Now, as you have asked, nicely asked that is that our actual goal? Yes, our actual goal is to please God. Actual goal is to please the Lord through spiritual practices, chanting His holy name, being with devotees. But that does not mean we give up our responsibilities. Devotees are not irresponsible, but the point is we do our responsibilities in the sense that actually this responsibility will also change one day. Ultimately, there's an ultimate duty and there is a constitutional, a conditional duty. Ultimate duty is to serve God. Like ultimate duty is to serve the country for anyone. But of course, they may not give up their families. Ultimate duty is to serve Supreme Law by all means. And even when we are earning, working, maintaining a family, everyone should have the consciousness that actually I am doing it to please God because every one of like my children, if you have, understanding that they are also God's parts and parcels. So I should be serving them so that they become mature one day, and I should give them knowledge and training also so that they will understand that actually they belong to God. Actually, their objective of their life also should be to please God, to serve God by all their strength. So that's how everyone should live, even in their families. Therefore, Krishna consciousness spiritual life is very simple. We don't need to subtract and give up anything. We need to just add God in our God, Supreme Lord Krishna in our lives, and automatically everything will be balanced. It's very simple. Just perception and the center of our life, the objective changes. Otherwise, everything remains the same. I hope that answers Amrita Mataji.
Shri Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Mataji. Anyone else? Karuna Mataji, Swati Mataji. Yes, Swati Mataji.
Krishna Prabhuji,
Yeah, Krishna.
thank you for the wonderful lesson, Prabhuji. I really liked all the lessons today, and I have two questions. So, while I was doing my college during engineering time, I was reading some God's books, and then I found the, four lines in one of the book of Ramayana. So, like, see, when like Lord Rama's father will say that you have to go to a village, sorry, not village, forest. So then Sita Maya, there is an option with Sita Maya if she want to go or not. Okay, then Rama comes and says that, see, this kind of vanvas is for me, it's not for you. Okay, but Sita, very humbly she will reply saying that, Prabhu, you am your shadow. How can you leave your shadow and go to forest by yourself? that is highly impossible, right? When a human walks on the road or anywhere, you will have your own shadow. So wherever you go, your shadow follows. Like the same way, the way the poetic words which were written in the book was so good, it always strikes my mind. So whenever, no matter in any difficult situation, wherever you are, it might be anything. Uh, how can we accompany our family in such difficult times, Prabhu? Like Sita Maya, she's a princess, but then she left everything for Lord Rama. How can we become so humble?
Mm.
That is one question, Prabhu. And second question is that I always wanted to know when like Maya Sita has been generated, when she crossed the Lakshman Rekha, or at what point of time?
Yes, good point. Thank you. Thank you, Sutemataji, for your questions. Regarding the first question, how we should uh, commit to our families or in our relationships, even though there is difficulty. Actually, the point is nowadays, people do things more out of excitement than out of commitment. So we should always understand that the relationships or whatever we do, either it's for husband and wife or families or mother and children, it's more commitment than excitement. It's a responsibility, not just for posting our pics and on Instagram and Facebook and things like that. So therefore, responsibility means that no matter whatever happens, we'll always stay together. And whatever obstacles will come, we'll handle them together. And because Mother Sita knew that actually there is no point living in this kingdom without the Lord, because the Lord is actually the life and soul of everyone. How could she do that? So that's the reason she wanted, and actually it's the duty of a wife to always support husband in adversity, not leave.
Mhm,
That's what that's the lesson we learn here for husbands and for wives also. And actually, the greatest commitment we should have is to please the Lord. The lesson we learn from Mother Sita is no matter whatever happens, even if we are practicing spiritual life, no matter whatever difficulties come in our life, we will never give up the spiritual practices. Coming to the temple, chanting Hare Krishna, reading books, associating with devotees. It only happens, see, why commitment come? Commitment comes only out of love. So that's what we need to
mhm.
generate. And that's a lesson we learn from Mother Sita. I hope that answers.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you so
And
much.
regarding the
How about the second question?
second question, actually, it's mentioned in one of the commentaries of Ramayana. Samacharyas write it that even before Ravana had come, just before Ravan comes and Marich comes, and then there is that hunting, and that episode follows. So
Mhm,
once Lakshman was out for hunting, not hunting, for picking up some fruits and things, that time Lord Ram explained to Sita that these episodes are going to happen, so you will have to leave. And then Agni Dev comes, offers them the Maya Sita, exchanges, and takes Mother Sita into his custody. And from then on, Maya Sita, illusory form of Sita, was living with Lord just for some days. And that's a different story in
mhm,
the background that Vedavati wanted Lord as her husband, and Ravan molested her. She gave up her life, taking the revenge that she'll be able she'll kill the whole uh,
mhm.
demons dynasty. And therefore, she got the opportunity to live like Lord's wife for some days and actually get kidnapped, and was the actual cause of Ravana's downfall. So actually, and Lakshman wasn't aware of this. So that's how it happened in secret.
Okay. Got you, Prabhu. Thank you. Actually, in the movies and all, these things are not revealed. So it's kind of confusion because when I went to last class during Sri Ram Navami, I guess, in Dilan temple, one of the Prabhuji was explaining the same regarding the Maya Sita. Then I was a little confused and I got clarified with another Prabhuji. But I wanted to understand in detail. So yeah, this makes a lot of sense. So here comes another question, Prabhu. So when Agni Dev will come and take original Maya Sita, then original Sita, and he will leave Maya Sita with Lord Rama, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So all these stories are within what to say? All this happened between Agni Dev, Sita Maya, and Maya Sita, and Lord Sri Rama.
Lord Sri Ram, yes. And no one else
Yes.
knew it, but it was recorded by Valmiki.
Okay. Great. Thank
Yes.
you, Prabhu. Thank you for
Thank you.
clarifying.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare
Anything
Krishna,
else?
Prabhu.
Anyone else? Karuna Mataji would say something.
Not much, Prabhuji, but nice lecture. Need to learn how to make balance. Loving God, serving God, and doing all duties.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, Mataji. Indeed, a very important lesson. All right, so today we'll stop here. Thank you all very much for giving me valuable time. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.